Black Panther and Wakanda. For any of you out there, of course, who know anything about the Bantu languages, you'll know that Kanda or Wakanda sort of basically expresses the action of throwing something to throw away. At least in Shona anyway. When someone says Wakanda, or they're basically implying that they've left something, or they've like chucked it away, thrown it, forsaken it. And it's interesting that you've got the name of the place in this Black Panther movie called Wakanda. And for any of you out there who haven't watched the movie, of course, I wouldn't want to spoil it for you. But for those of you that have, you will get the gist of the name being Wakanda and what goes on in the storyline. And the fact that, you had one who had power and resources in this land, and this vibranium, this mineral, which gave them all the power and all the protection they needed in that land. It was then forsaken due to betrayal. If you look at the beginning of the movie and you see, Black Panther, the current one, his father, his brother betrayed him and handed over the resources, etc., etc. So it's very reminiscent of the colonization story and the European slave trade. And of course, to throw something away, to forsake something, I guess us as a people, especially as Black peoples, we have done that many, many times through many, many ages. And we've got to that point now where we don't know who we are or what we are and what we possess. And remember, I told you before that when I say Black people or an African, I'm not talking about black, white, blue, pink. I'm talking about a consciousness. So you can look whatever you look like under the sun. But if you have a certain consciousness, you will be an African. And as an African, you once ruled your dominion. But due to, I guess, lower urges and due to the selling of the soul, which is giving into those lower urges, you forsook your land. You forsook what you have. You forsook what you are. And you gave it away. Wakanda. I was just explaining. I've got my friend Nana here. I was just explaining to him about the fact that, I was explaining Nana to YouTube that you've got the name of the place in the movie is called Wakanda. If you look at the Shona language and many other Bantu languages, that term Wakanda is like to say to throw away. To grow away. To throw. Oh, throw. So if I throw something away, it's like Wakanda, I've thrown it away. Kanda is like to throw. So I'm basically saying that this Black Panther movie is to talk about a return, an uprising, a return of a consciousness. So the fact that you've got this place called Wakanda now is testifying that once a great place is being thrown away. So now you've got the whole storyline of this character who's trying to redeem the place, etc., etc., etc. So that's it. Stan Lee is a very occult man, because even when you look at Stan Lee's Lucky Man, there was a lot of occult knowledge in that series. But Black Panther, of course, is blatant. But for any of you out there who don't know the Bantu languages or don't know the root of that term, Wakanda is basically to throw away. So you've got a place that's to throw away. Yeah. So that's it basically. Whenever you watch that movie or whenever you look at the story of Black Panther, it's talking about the Panther within you and the fact that you have to call back and you have to fight back to get back what you want. You have to claw it back because you throw it away. You once threw it away, but you can always get it back. You can redeem yourself. So it's a story of redemption, but it's a story of a redemption of consciousness. Because even in the movie, they're all astral traveling and everything. When the king has to, be initiated, he has to go to the ancestral plane. They give him ayahuasca. I don't know what they call it in the movie. Blah, blah, blah. Bless up, Panther. Cool. And it's a very, very deep movie. I was very proud coming out of the pictures after watching it, because there was a lot of stuff in that movie that, really pointed to the fact that there are many occult things in this world that we live in. And as I've said before, the occult isn't meant to be occult. So one day, these things that we now consider won't be occult. It will be standard. It will be everyday thing. It will just be, business as usual. But in order for that to happen, us Black Panthers have to get back our state. And it's not a physical one I'm talking about, it's a spiritual one, it's a metaphysical one, it's an ethereal one. It's one that we have to be consciously aware of in order to find and obtain. Just like the three wise men finding their Messiah or their higher selves by following the star. We have to now look and find our star so that we can find our X traits and activate those X traits like the X-Men so that we can snatch back what is truly ours. That is a very, very deep movie. And I would be heartbroken for people to simply look at it as a movie and not a higher lesson for one to obtain and attain and retain. So that's about it. I'm going to do another stream later on tonight as well. I won't tell you what it's about, but it will be juicy. So tune in. Anything you want to add, Nana?
I would like to say that I'm going to check out a movie soon.
Yeah.
And I hope it's something great, you know?
Yeah.
Something that shows me, like teaches me something.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm not putting you on camera, by the way. Don't worry.
I'm still there. You know what I mean? I'm still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
That's YouTube, lad.
Yeah, man. So, big thanks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you'll go. You know what? I gave the movie a 7 out of 10. Some will say that's a very good rating. Others will say it can do better. I gave it a 7 out of 10 personally because I'm not going to let my emotions and my subjectivity override my logic and objectivity. So it was a great movie. I would definitely encourage people to watch it, especially if you're going there with your third eye open. You'll really enjoy it because you'll be clocking everything that it's trying to tell you. Because remember, we get subliminal codes everywhere that we are, in our sleep, in our wake. Wherever you are, we get subliminal codes. So if you pick up those codes, you could really, enjoy the movie. But for, the average Joe or anyone that's just going there to get entertained, I would say 7 out of 10. So that's a rating of good. Peace.
Yeah, I want to ask a question as well.
Yes, sir.